This is Scott from My Last Reward. We are at the Tin Cup Trailhead here near Luther, Michigan. It's December 3rd, and it's a bit of 20-mile loop, a little over 20 miles. Temperatures are mild in the mid-30s. I'm sure it'll drop down as the evening goes on. It's snowing just a little bit, so we're going to give it a try. This is my first trip since Kalkaska when I flipped the quad over. But we're back. I'm going to get back on the bike here, so enjoy. All right, this is our setup here. We're at Tin Cup. We got Pixie in the back in our little homemade box. And it's my Sportsman 570. And then this is Kyle's rig. His SP, Sportsman SP 2018. You just put new tires on it. He has bead lockers. First time he's using these tires. He's got Fox shocks all around. Heated handle grips. Replaced all of his bushings. And he has a lighting kit on the front that lights up the world up here. This is my YouTube channel page. And where the red arrow is coming up, there are some new websites that I've included at the bottom right of my banner there. And what I just circled is, well, you'd want to click in order to see this map right here. And then what I'm pointing to there and circled is Tin Cup Springs. That's a little closer view of it. And then you can see kind of sort of what kind of trails are there for it. This is us leaving the Tin Cup Springs trailhead. And we'll just kind of mosey on down the driveway here towards the end, where I then enter the route trail. And right here is where I entered the route. I could have entered at the other end there. I just wanted to go down and look at the sign coming in from the road. These routes are wide enough that you can very easily pass each other at fairly, nice speeds, so without much risk unless you're on a curve. Mostly sandy trails, but there's some mud. I saw a few large stones on the side of the trail in some places, but for the most part, you're just really dealing with sand and mud and forest. We're now going to come up to a 90-degree turn here that's going to go down a hill. A little bit of a challenge coming up it with a large vehicle like a pickup truck unless it's equipped correctly. One other time when Kyle and I were on this trail, we had noticed a truck and helped the folks as much as we could try to get unstuck. They had actually dropped off to the right here down this drop off and wedged themselves up against a tree. And in the end, they actually required a wrecker to come in and get them out. Tin Cup Springs route and trails are located west of Reed City, about halfway to Baldwin. As you're traveling 10, you'll notice a sign, a brown sign that will point to the north, and then you just take some paved roads. There are some turns and some curves, and you'll eventually find the trailhead on the right, well marked. This is a stretch that's fairly long, sand, and you can get some good speeds up here as Kyle just demonstrated here. Could be fun, especially if you have some well-equipped side-by-sides with great suspension. This is one of the mud areas that I mentioned earlier as far as the mud portion. And early on when we had our quads the first year, Kyle ended up getting stuck in this mud hole coming up on the right. And we didn't really have any winches, or we didn't have anything in our hitch receiver to easily pull. We didn't really have anything to pull when we had to sit there and work at it. So lesson learned. We didn't have that problem after that because we took care of everything after that. Here I noticed that there are some trees and they all seem to be leaning or falling in the same direction. It seemed like something went through there, whether it was some high winds or a tornado or something. Starting to get a little darker here. It's starting to drop down in temperature a little bit. And the level of darkness is getting even more, and it even gets darker than this. Kyle's lighting is much superior to mine. Mine does fine, and when I'm on the quad and I'm seeing this, it's very usable for me. We just passed a truck on the left that was parked. Must have been this deer hunter that's coming up on the right. And then shortly after past the deer hunter, a deer went across the road. Don't know if it was a buck or a doe. And a new level of darkness here and more cold. Drop in temperature. Partner that up with the 15 mile an hour, 10 to 15 mile an hour that I'm driving, and it's cold. Here we've got some hills. This is pretty close to where the trailhead comes back in the loop. It's a fun little play area. You can spend a little bit of time in here. It's not huge, but you can play here for a few minutes, and I believe it's the only area like this on Tin Cup. So this trail is something that any skill level can do, from beginner, intermediate to advanced, with the width of the trails and its safety and proximity to trees. There's a few hills that you can navigate as long as you're careful and go slow, you're fine. And its proximity to a restaurant and a gas station is within 5 miles. Tin Cup Spring route, highly recommended. I want to thank you for stopping by the channel and watching this video. And until next week, take care.